CEO Ronald from Creating the Difference. Today we're going to show you how to resurface a bowling ball and kind of when to resurface a bowling ball. We're going to start with talking about the products that we have, the TruCut Sanding Products. The TruCut Sanding Products actually come in 9 grits. Most people know the 6 grits that we have, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, 3000, and P5000D. We've also got some resurfacing grits here that are also in 6-inch, 80 grit, 120 grit, and 220 grit. They only come in 6-inch, and they are made of a special material that is really made to cut bowling balls at an aggressive level. Here's a bowling ball that we've got. Brand new high road versus a high road that's, well, let's just say it's definitely seen better days. It's definitely beat up. And we're gonna go through the process and resurface this bowling ball. One of the things that I also want to talk to you about briefly is this bowling ball is shiny, so we're going to want to use our TruCut Hand Applied Polish powered by Turtle Wax as well to be able to get the shine back on the bowling ball, and a CTD polishing pad. We've also got another product that's going to be coming out here soon. That's the CTD Polishing Pad Pro. That polishing pad is actually just a little bit more effective at being able to get the ball shiny as well. And then last but not least, we're going to show you the TruCut Conditioner. The TruCut Conditioner product is actually made for sanding pads to actually improve the life of the sanding pad and give you a little bit more of a consistent cut as well. So we've actually put 4 ounces of the TruCut Conditioner product inside of our resurfacing mechanism that we're going to use, which is this cabinet spinner right here, as you can see. We're actually going to go ahead and resurface this bowling ball and show you exactly what the process would be if you wanted to fully resurface a bowling ball. So we're going to get started with it. Like I showed you this ball a second ago, it's super beat up, definitely seen better days. When you get nicks in your bowling balls like this, these are the kind of things that you want to actually get rid of, because that's when your bowling ball is going to lose performance. That's when your bowling ball is not going to be consistent rolling down the lane, and ultimately that's not good for you. So when your bowling ball begins to look like you're seeing here in this kind of condition, it's a good indicator that it's time to get your bowling ball resurfaced. Now you're not going to be able to get every single nick out. See how deep these are into the bowling ball? Those necessarily won't come out, but some of the shallow ones will come out, and ultimately the goal is to get the bowling balls nice and smooth like it was when it came from the factory. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and bring the ball over here, and we'll grab the resurfacing pads. When you're going to resurface a bowling ball, you're going to want to do 6 sides, and I'm going to show you the 6 sides right now. The first side is with the grip up, so you're going to do the grip side up first, then we'll rotate the ball 180 degrees. Then do this side next, okay? Then we'll turn the ball 90 degrees this way, resurface it, flip it again, resurface it. Then the last 2 sides, we're actually gonna rotate the ball 90 degrees this way. Do this side, flip it 180, and do this side. And the reason why you're gonna do 6 sides is because that's gonna help to keep the ball round. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a resurfacing machine in your possession, you can use a resurfacing machine to do this as well. But for our purposes, we're gonna show you how to do it with a ball spinner, and we're gonna do the 6 sides that are required to be able to actually resurface a bowling ball. One of the things to think about too is when you're gonna use the lower, more aggressive grits, the 80s, 120s, 220s, you're gonna want to make sure that you use the speed as low as possible. You don't want to use the high speed until you get to the higher grits. And the reason being is when you use the low speed, you're gonna still be able to get the cut, but you're cutting a lot of material and you don't want that stuff flying all over the place. And you can continue to use that grit until you make sure that you've removed all those initial grooves that are in the ball. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll have it on low speed. We'll cut our water on, which actually has some TruCut conditioner in it. We'll get it about right about there. Then we'll cut the motor on. We'll start with the 80 grit, and we're actually gonna get the pad wet. You wanna make sure you get the pad nice and wet first. The reason being is because if the pad is dry, basically you're gonna help destroy the pad quicker. Remember, there's TruCut conditioner in the water, so that's gonna help this pad last a little bit longer anyway to begin with. All right, so now you're gonna go in up and down motion, and we're gonna do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we'll go to 220 grit. You can see now we're going to move up. We're moving up to 220 grit. So now we'll go to the 500 grit TruCut pad. Same thing, you want to make sure you get the pad nice and wet. Now we're going to go to 1000 grit. So now we'll go to 1500 grit. And this time what we're going to do after we get the pad wet, we're actually going to cut the water volume down. As you begin to get higher grits, you don't need necessarily as much water on the bowling ball because you're cutting a finer amount of particles down. So you can see we're just going to bring it just to a drip at this point. So now we're going to go to 2000 grit. And what's interesting about 2000 grit is if you're not resurfacing the ball, you can actually go from 500 right to 2000. But if you're going to do a full resurface on the ball, you should go through all of the steps. And that'll make sure that the ball is ultimately as smooth as possible and as consistent as possible. So for resurfacing, we recommend that you do go through all the steps. All right, so now once you get to the finer grits, 3000 and 5000, which is what we've got here, it looks completely different than the other pads. Now you can actually begin to go ahead and use a higher speed as well. So now we'll go to a higher speed on our cabinet spinner, which will allow us just to get a little bit faster cut. It'll still be nice and smooth though. Last but not least, we're going to talk about P5000D. So P5000D is a unique pad because if you use this pad by hand, it's going to leave you a 4000 grit finish. But if you use it on a ball spinner at high speed, it'll actually leave the ball at 5000 grit. And I want to show what that looks like. So you look at that, you're like, Ron, the ball's shiny, right? So let's talk for a second, come over here. Set it next to the other high road. And you can see the ball obviously is shiny now, and that's the power of P5000D. It will actually shine a bowling ball without polish if you do it on a ball spinner. But for a comparison standpoint, the high road actually comes from the factory 1500 grit polished. What does that really mean? When you go scan 1500 grit polish, what you find is that it's scanning right at 5300 plus. Okay? Our ball that we have here, that we've done with the P5000D pad, is sitting right at 5000 because when you use it on a ball spinner, it's at 5000 grit. So in order for us to get the 5300 plus, which is going to be 5500, we would actually want to use the TruCut Hand Applied Polish powered by Turtle Wax, and it will end up with a 5500 grit finish if we do it by hand. If we do it on a ball spinner, which is what we're going to do, it's going to be higher than that. It's going to be 6200 grit. Let me just show you what that looks like. But you can see the difference between these two bowling balls. They look kind of close at this point, don't they? Kind of neat. All right, so let's put that polish on it. Just a little bit of polish. Don't need a lot. And actually, maybe what I'll do, just kind of rub it in just a little bit there. This polish was developed with Turtle Wax to be able to be used by hand. Now look at that ball. Now I measured right at 5300 plus, just like the other ball. The cool thing is, if we use this, like I said, on a spinner, you can hear how tacky it is, we can actually get to 6200 grit, so I'm gonna show you that now. Just a little bit of polish. You see just a very little bit of polish on the ball, on the pad. High speed. Now you can see there's a pretty big difference between those two bowling balls. And that's really the power of the TruCut Hand Applied Polish powered by Turtle Wax. You can see there's an immense difference in the shine of this bowling ball. If we were to scan it, it would actually measure at right around 6200 grit. Well, last thing I'll let you look at, if you look at the surface of the bowling ball, you can kind of see the imperfections that are in the cover stock. Come over here, you can see how we've basically removed those imperfections. This ball is nice, pretty. So now you have a little insight on how to do a full resurface on your bowling ball. If you have more questions or need more information, you can always go to our website, ttdbowling.com, and find out more information about these products. Maybe consider joining our staff. It's a free program to join, the regional staff. You get inside information, more videos like this, and tips to help you in your game. With that being said, I'm out of here. CEO Ron from Creating a Difference. Have a great day.